The BlackBerry DTEK60 is a remarkable device in many different regards, not just because it was the first of two Android BlackBerries that were not made by BlackBerry and just have their logo, DTEK software, all that cool stuff, but they finally kind of shot for the moon a little bit when it came to specs. Snapdragon 820, 3000 milliamp battery, 21 megapixel camera, Quad HD plus screen. The list goes on. There's a lot of really neat things about this phone that I think that they got right, but unfortunately I think the timing was just a little bit off in the BlackBerry world for this to be a success. But before we get into talking about this, I do want to say if this is your first time stopping by the channel, I appreciate you being here. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. Now let's take a look at the DTEK60. Taking a look at the DTEK60, I just want to take a second to appreciate the design on this phone. For 2017, when this phone came out, it was a sharp-looking device. And looking at the playing field with the competition, you had the HTC 10, you had the LG 5, you had the LG V20, you had the Samsung Galaxy S7 phones, all running the same hardware on the inside. So BlackBerry wasn't that far off in hitting the mark with the hardware. That's not why this phone was not successful. It wasn't for lack of trying in the hardware department. But taking a look at it, it's got this gorgeous, almost gunmetal looking color. It looks really good, kind of like a graphite gray. It looks really nice. They even went so far as to put the same tone and the color around the camera lens, which is really nice. And it's got a nice camera, 21 megapixels, and it's got 8 megapixel front-facing selfie camera on the front. On the back, you can see the BlackBerry logo there hidden under the Gorilla Glass. I mean, it's not really hidden, you can see it, but it looks nice. And then it's complementary with the gray color, the metal frame that goes all the way around it. You've got this nice flat display, which is subtly curved right here on the edges, but it's not really a curved edge display. It just looks like one. So the fingerprint sensor on the back, very characteristic of the time. Samsung was kind of one of the only ones putting it on the front, which, whatever. I mean, Samsung might put it on the front, they might put it on the back, they might put it, you never know with Samsung. They put fingerprint sensors everywhere. But this one right here looked great. Headphone jack on the top, USB-C on the bottom, all the makings of a very good flagship phone in the year 2017. But I think the problem was not so much the way the phone looked, not so much the way the phone performed, because, see, it didn't matter if this was a Lamborghini with a BlackBerry on the hood at that point in time. Things were already kind of trending. I mean, they were really trending in the negative direction for BlackBerry, and this was kind of a way for BlackBerry to limit their overhead, because let's face it, BlackBerry was really bad about making a ton of phones and then not being able to sell them, which was not good. So they did this partnership with TCL before the BlackBerry mobile licensing agreement came about, and they were already working with TCL. They just formalized it and created BlackBerry Mobile instead of BlackBerry having TCL make the phone, but still using the BlackBerry name. Solid phone, 32 gigabytes of storage, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 3000 milliamp battery, quick charge, no IP rating, no wireless charging, but still we're talking 2017. Don't really expect that too much. It did have stereo sound though, speaker on the top and on the bottom. Not too bad in the sound department. Power button up here on the top left, which is one of the most curious design choices about this phone. Volume rocker over here on the right hand side, along with the convenience key, which also made an appearance in the BlackBerry mobile devices, the key 1, the key 2, all of that. So they were really kind of trending in the right direction already towards what we would eventually see in BlackBerry mobile devices. All that came from this. This was kind of the start. But I think really the biggest mark that they missed, of course, is it didn't have a keyboard. BlackBerry enthusiasts, of course, loved the keyboard, but see, the thing was, with the changing of the times, not everybody else wanted keyboards. So people like me and you that may have been interested in having a keyboard on our phone, we were then the minority, where we had been the majority for so many years, all basically the mid-2000s to early 2010 years. That shifted to where people wanted to have more social media. They wanted more media consumption. They wanted to have the screen real estate. They didn't want to be hampered by half of the screen being taken up by a keyboard. Even though when you type and the keyboard pulls up, it covers up half your screen anyway. But as far as performance goes, it's a solid performing phone. It's just curious looking at it, now in 2020. I wish I had an opportunity to get this phone back in 2017 because I probably would have appreciated it a lot more and held on to it longer. But like many other people, I was a BlackBerry kind of a purist back then. I didn't want a BlackBerry that was made by somebody else and they threw a BlackBerry logo on there. I wanted a real BlackBerry. So I was even still a little hesitant by the time the BlackBerry key devices came out, but I was just so happy that there was another BlackBerry that was coming out that I went ahead and bought them. I was still using my Priv and my Passport when this came out. I was still heavily relying on BlackBerry 10, so I was like, I don't really want to buy this. I don't want it. But there are some people that really love the DTEK series devices. I've run into a lot of them as I've been making videos, and they're like, yeah, get a DTEK, get a DTEK. Where's the DTEK? How come I never talk about the DTEK? Which is why I went out and I bought this phone. Now, as far as the devices go, it's not necessarily my favorite because I never built a relationship with this phone, for lack of better terminology. I never used it in its prime. I never relied on it. It was never my daily driver. It was nothing I even handled until I unboxed the video here just a week or two ago. But as a tech enthusiast, as somebody who loves BlackBerry, I can appreciate what it brings to the table because BlackBerry tried really hard with this. See, they knew BlackBerry 10. They built it from the ground up. They knew what it needed. And you can go back and it's still a very, very smooth operating system even now, just like Apple is. Because when you have your own hardware and you have your own software and you build them both from the ground up, you get a much better experience than here. We're going to give Android out and then y'all just make phones and then put it on top of it and then apply your own launcher to make it your own individual experience. Made for kind of a clunky experience like the old TouchWiz days with Samsung. Those were some dark times. I really hated TouchWiz. Not even going to hold any punches. It was terrible. So looking at this now, I can see where they made a lot of cool design choices. I can see where they relied on TCL for the expertise and said, hey, look, you guys build this. You've already got this great phone. We're going to go ahead and have you work with us and we'll put our software version on there. We'll control the security for Android. And yeah, this will be a great business relationship. And we got a really nice phone out of it. Unfortunately, things just were not going well for BlackBerry at the time. They've continued to not go very well. And now we find ourselves in the month of August of 2020 when the TCL licensing agreement for BlackBerry Mobile ends on August 31st. And we don't know if there's new life that's going to happen on the other side of that. I genuinely hope so because I think there's a place in the world for BlackBerry still today. And if you look around and you see these niche devices that are popping up, I think now might be a better time than there has been in the last couple of years for a BlackBerry device because if they can keep the overhead low, there's enough people out there that I think would still consider one, and I hope that they can find a partnership, or even better, I hope that they can build their own, especially with the new stuff like the 7 series Snapdragon processors. Stuff is cheaper than ever. They should be able to put together something good. So I'm really hoping we're going to get a new BlackBerry, but right now is a great time to go back down memory lane and have a look at some of these devices, appreciate them for what they are, have a look and say, yes, they did some good stuff there. Yes, I had some great memories with that phone. I didn't really have any memories with this phone, but I'm sure some of you who are watching it really love it, and you may still be using a DTEK series device today because I've made Priv videos recently and also BlackBerry 10 related videos, and people still comment saying, watching this from this phone right now. So for those of you who are still keeping the dream alive with your own BlackBerry, I applaud you. I'm glad it's still working for you. Is this a phone that you could get today? It's running Android 6. We're on Android 10 now, moving into the world of Android 11. Does it still work? Yes. Can you still use it? Yes, I've been using it. You can still use Instagram. You can use your banking apps. You can use WhatsApp. You can use whatever you want on here because Android 6 is still supported. There's still quite a lot of devices around the world that are still running it. So if you just want to be able to still use a BlackBerry and you're looking for an upgrade from the Priv, you're looking for an upgrade from one of your BlackBerry 10 devices, this could still be something you could pick up. It has a dedicated SD card slot. You can expand the SD card storage because it only has 32 gigabytes of internal storage, 5.5-inch AMOLED display. It looks sharp, Quad HD plus resolution, dual speakers. It's got pretty much everything that you could check off the list for a flagship phone of 2017. And it has the DTEK software. It has the Android Hub, which I personally find terrible, but some people still like it. So if you want to be able to use the BlackBerry Hub, the Android stuff, you want to have the BlackBerry software keyboard that's in here, and you want to carry around a BlackBerry phone, this might still have some life left in the tank for another couple of years. I don't know how long Android 6 will still be supported, but if you look at the BlackBerry 10, you can, I mean, its Android emulation was only for like Android 4.3, I believe, at its highest. So yeah, there's still going to be plenty of stuff that's going to run on here for at least a year or two. I picked this one up brand new for $199 off of eBay, brand new in the box. So if you're looking for something like this, it's something you can still use as long as you're not trying to play like, you know, a bunch of video games. I did play Call of Duty Mobile on here. It still runs okay on medium graphics, but that's probably about as good as you're going to get. You can play some Mario Kart on here. You can play Boom Beach. You can play some typical stuff, kind of like that came out at the time, Alto's Odyssey, Minion Run, just some decent, you know, everyday games, nothing too crazy, but it still looks fancy, nice thin profile, not too thick. You can probably find some aftermarket accessories on Amazon, maybe even still today, but it just looks sharp and it has some character to it. If this is something you're in the market for, if you understand the limitations going into it, but also realize, hey, not a very expensive phone, you can get it a lot of different places. You can probably find it brand new or close to brand new, still on the resale markets like eBay, and realize you can still get a couple of years out of it as long as you're not concerned too much about security updates. There might be something left in the tank for you in the DTEK world. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoy the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. I know this is not so much of a formal review as it was. I just wanted to take a moment to look back and appreciate what we got with the DTEK60, whether you got one back in the day and this is a great trip down memory lane for you, or whether it's just something you always wanted and you never got a chance for somebody to show it off so you could get a look at it and maybe pick one up if you're interested or add it to your collection. So that's all I've got, guys. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to sit here and be with me and watch this video, and I really do appreciate that. So that's all I got, guys. I'll see you next time.